Hey everyone, it's Mark Ferguson with Invest for More, and we're doing another compilation video of all the frozen pipes we had from this recent storm in Colorado. It was a fun time, I'll tell you what. I posted a video earlier this week about the laundromat in Kirby that had frozen pipes in back. We had more issues with it as well, and we've had a number of issues with other properties too. So I mentioned this before this cold snap was coming. I was going to get ready for problems and issues because when it gets this cold, it was below 20 below here in Colorado. We have problems and issues no matter how prepared you are. So this is a laundromat in Kirby, and we figured out some more things of what might have happened here. We had a mini split that was put in. It's supposed to go down to like minus 13, and it never got that cold, but it still was going into defrost mode. I don't think it was heating quite as well. We had insulation problems, obviously, and some pipes in the back ended up freezing. Well, we had put in some heaters and different things to help thaw it out, and the next day, I think those tripped some breakers and had turned off some heat tape and some different things were used to prevent the washer lines from freezing, and we think some of the drain lines froze up that next night. Luckily, nothing broke. They just leaked a little bit. That was cleaned up. They're working again. So a lot of different things going on here, but we obviously need to get some more insulation, get this back room prepared a little bit better. So that was one issue, was the Kirby laundromat. It's still up and running. It's working now, which is great. But I'm guessing the sales might be down a little bit after we would have to be closed for a little bit and had some obvious issues. But it could have been way, way, way worse. If you didn't hear the story, someone was doing laundry late at night. They heard crazy noises in the back room, thought the pipes were broken, which they were, called the fire department. Fire department got over there pretty quick, turned everything off. So that was awesome. And this video was me going there that night to see how bad it was. And it's pretty much cleaned up now, dried up. But yeah, there's some things we need to do to prevent this from happening again in the future. Now, what else did we have happen? Let's go to my videos. Oh, yes, we have my office, Blue Steel Real Estate. So in here, last year, or was it 2 years ago, we got really, really cold. Our sink froze. No pipes broke, nothing burst, but the pipes froze up from being kind of on an outside wall. We have a slab, so it's not easy to just put pipes in the floor. And I'll show you the kitchen here if we can get to there. This year we left the door open, left the sink trickling. We had put more insulation in last year after this happened. And yesterday morning, our cold water line was frozen again. So I don't know if this quality is really, or this must be an old video before I had 4K and stuff. So even with that happening, our cold water line froze. It didn't burst. Once it warmed up, it started working again. The hot water line worked the whole time. So we're hoping we'd fix that issue with more insulation, but apparently not. So things like this happen, and it's not the end of the world. Luckily, nothing broke, but we do have to keep an eye on it and figure, just make sure we don't let it become a horrible situation where the pipes break and water sprays everywhere. That's not good. All right, this property, this call actually came in today, a few days after the really, really cold weather. And we see that a lot too, where if a pipe does break, a lot of times it's frozen solid and it won't start leaking until it warms up, thaws out. And this property is a commercial property, like a 10,000 square foot commercial property I bought 4 or 5 years ago, I think. And it froze up the last time it got really cold too. And it's got a main line in the basement that comes from underground. And for whatever reason, our plumber said it's just one of those situations where without digging out the whole line and redoing it from the water company, which would be incredibly expensive, if it gets this cold, it's going to freeze. So that froze up. It actually broke. The water's off. He's over there today fixing it, I believe. So just an annoying situation. And we can show you some of the building too. It's more exciting than outside. But that's since been fixed and repaired. This is when I first bought it. And we do have, it's leased to a fence company now. We have another part of it leased to an auction company just for kind of storage. But this is a property that at some point we're hoping to get more businesses in here. At one point I have my Mustang in here. We've got some restaurant equipment stored in here. So it's a nice big space for storage. But not a serious issue. It's kind of like it's got a real small basement where this happens, and that should be fixed here soon too. Now, moving on to the next one. Oh yes, everyone's favorite property, the complex. So this used to be a 5-unit motel. It's got a real small studio house, kind of where I'm standing right here. And then that other house, this is a 3-bedroom house, and that house froze up this last time as well. And there might be some issues with the basement not being insulated. It's got like a cellar, not a real basement. Or it could be some tenant issues here, not always sure, because I was over here last week because we have some tenants who are supposed to be moving out, some other issues with tenants doing chargebacks on their rent. We'll talk about that here soon. Hopefully we don't have to do any evictions here, but we might. And their cellar door was wide open. They claim it was closed when it got so cold, but it wouldn't surprise me if they just left their cellar door open. They really shouldn't be down there. We need to put a lock on it, but it was open. So if that was the case in minus 20-degree weather, that will freeze your pipes. So with them, the pipes just froze. They didn't break. Once they thawed out, everything was good. Not a big deal again, but still not an amazing situation when your pipes are freezing, because there is always that chance that they could break, and then you have a huge disaster on your hands. Kind of like what we sort of had at the laundromat, but it could have been way, 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 way worse. And we do have, too, another group looking at this property. That's what it looked like before. God, it's so pretty. We do have another group kind of looking at this property. Don't know for sure how serious they are, but it's been for sale for a while. There's the tires back there. But it makes money too, and it provides an amazing amount of content. So I'm kind of fine either way. We'll see how it goes. All right, next property. This is the kind of triplex I fixed up last year that has a 4th unit here that would be illegal per zoning, so we didn't fix it up. It's got a 2-bedroom house here, a 3-bedroom house here, plus a basement apartment below it. This one, the 2-bedroom house froze up. No water at all, and I don't know if we can show, if I'll zoom in here. Okay. No, we're gonna keep, wait. Okay. So there's the one we didn't do anything with. It's just sitting there still. We could do something with it at some point. I'm not sure what. Here's the irrigation ditch, doesn't really matter. Here's the small 2-bedroom, and what happened is there's a line, well, I'm not really showing it, that runs from the main house to this 2-bedroom house, and our plumber said it's not deep enough. So it froze up, and these tenants didn't tell us for 3 or 4 days until after it happened that they didn't have water. Now, if they would have told us right away, it would have been way easier to fix, to thaw, and get water to them. As it was, it took forever for our plumber to thaw it out, and at some point, we might have to bury that line deeper, because he said it's just not done right, it's too shallow, and if it gets this cold again, it's just going to happen over and over. So we did get it thawed out. They've got water again, but that could be an ongoing issue if we don't fix that line. So lots of things to consider and think about when you've got properties, that's for sure. This one, some of you may or may not recognize, is from the compound. So we haven't been to the compound for a long time. This is a property, another crazy property. It had 3 houses on it, a commercial property. We redid all of them. They've been rented and been doing really well. Hardly any issues there at all. But this one also had, I think it was a dishwasher line froze, which is strange, and was running, and the tenants were able to shut off the water, and we need to get that fixed. So that was kind of weird how that froze, because it's inside. I don't know, maybe it's against an exterior wall, not sure. But the rest of their water was working fine. They had a dishwasher hose freeze and burst, and it got things a little bit wet. So this is one we sent our plumber out. He got it fixed. And every time this happens, we try to figure out, okay, what happened? Why did it freeze? What can we do better next time so it doesn't happen again? And most of these issues we've never had before. Like my office one we had before, we tried to fix it. Obviously it wasn't fixed. We had the commercial property one that happened before, and there's not much we can do there except just hope it doesn't happen. Or if the tenant puts a space heater down there or something when it gets really cold, that might help too, like right next to the wall. That's one thing. And then there is some good news too. I have another commercial property that's been rented to an oil company for a long time, and I should probably, hold hold on, be able to find, gosh, which one is that? Rental property. Oh, look at that. There it is. That was lucky. Oh, there I am. Let's see here. Okay, this property was one of my first commercial property purchases. In fact, one of the first. I don't think it's the first one, but one of my very first. And it's been a great deal. But, oh, I'm just walking outside here. It also has a main line that freezes kind of in, there's like a main shutoff pit in the grass here. And it's actually the city, or I think it's the city who provides water. There's nothing we can do about it except warm up that pit when it freezes. But this year, it didn't happen. And we actually have this happen quite a bit at this property when it's not even this cold. And so they put heat tape down there, different things, all kinds of things to try and fix it. So maybe this last time, they were finally able to fix it. And yes, we do still have an unfinished basement down there. Haven't done a lot for that. And they've rented this for 5-6 years now, probably. It's been a while. And we've actually been talking to them. They're asking if they could buy it. I don't know if I would be willing to sell it to them for the right price, or they want to renew their lease because their lease is coming up here soon. So their options are buy it, renew the lease, or they said they really want a place with a yard and a couple acres. Really, really hard to find right now. So we're hoping they stay, or it'd be okay with them buying it. If they move out, it can take a while to rent commercial, so that's the least happy resolution, but something to have to deal with, and then I get to show you the property again if that happens too. So this is one that didn't freeze up, which is nice. So far, those are the problems we've had. Nothing too crazy. The other laundromat didn't have any freezing problems or water problems, but it has been cold in there. It's been struggling to get above 60, and that's a property I lease from someone else, so it's kind of their responsibility to make sure the heat's working, and they've been a little slow to get anybody out there. We actually sent our guys just to look at it, and I'm waiting to hear what they say. And then we realized too, in the back office of that laundromat, there's no heat at all. There's no heat vents, there's nothing. So it gets cold back there, so we probably should put some kind of heating. I think we do have a little space heater back there now. They do make space heaters better than they used to. That's always a risk of fire in the past, but still, you don't want to use space heaters if you don't have to. That's for sure, because they run off electricity and can use a lot of power and be very expensive as well. So we'll see how all this goes, but hopefully that's the last really, really cold weather we have for this year, and hopefully we don't see it for a couple more years. You never know, but if it does, keep notes of what froze before. We'll see what happens with any new properties we buy, and then there's always something you've had for a while that for some reason decides to freeze up when it hasn't done it before. So hopefully everyone else out there, I know the whole country has been kind of frigid and cold, hasn't had too crazy problems or issues. You got to be proactive. You kind of dread getting this property management who handles a lot of our properties in my office, but you kind of dread getting those texts or emails about another pipe broke or something happened. But it wasn't too bad this year. But yeah, we got to knock on wood and hope that next time this happens, it's not too bad either. All right, thanks for watching. We'll have more videos coming up soon, including laundromat videos at the end of this week, and then more updates on our flips, rentals, all that stuff. We're still trying to buy more properties and new properties, but they're still hard to find. But we're still going to go after those. And of course, we'd love to hear what you think on all this too.